And off we go, folks. Welcome to Monday Night Q&A here on RGR Football. Travis Kelce is already the GOAT, but now he's paid like it. The Chiefs go ahead and give him a raise. It's not even really extension. It's kind of weird. But bottom line is they got everything done that they wanted to do during the draft. I think there's signals that they're like, we don't need the extra cash. We're just going to take care of the guy who got us here. I'm pretty happy to see it. What was your reaction? Travis Kelce getting his new deal.
Makes me very confident in my assumption that he played 2 to 3 more years. You don't sign on for the raise if you're just like, we'll see how it goes. Maybe not. Right. It feels like he's going to give it 2 really good years at least and then reevaluate. But that's a great position for them to be in. And I'm very excited to see him continue to maybe get less press now in terms of on the field. Off the field, obviously, you're going to get as much press because you're dating Taylor Swift. So, I mean, that's on you. So, on the field, at least, maybe they can control a little bit of the press that he's getting.
I mean, the guy's got a rough life, right?
Real rough.
Greatest tight end in history, 2 championships in a row, dating the biggest star in the world. Like, the stuff could be going a lot worse for Travis Kelce. Let's be real.
Absolutely. It's great. He is living his best life in every sense of the word.
Oh, man. Kudos to him. I wish we could all be Travis Kelce's. Thundarius, I think you're doing a hell of a job too, and thank you. If you guys would like this video, sub to the channel, and even hit the bell if you want to get notified when stuff goes on. I appreciate everybody being here. We had a great draft weekend.
So great.
Ton of information and a huge number of fans. We appreciate you. So we appreciate the fact that you guys are still here. I know the excitement's over, but it's kind of not. But yet on a Monday night, our normal Q&A, which we do every single week here, is off and rolling. So Thundarius, cheers to you, buddy, and thanks for bringing it up. I appreciate it. I do want to give a shout out to KCSN guys for having you up to their second home, I'm going to call it, Holiday, the distillery up there. So glad you got to hang out with those guys, and I hope your livers are doing all right.
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. It's the first time that I've actually had more than a couple of drinks in a very long time, and they were fantastic. Holiday was great. Smoke was, I believe, I can't remember exactly the barbecue company that did it for us. I believe it was like Magic Smoke or something like that. But I have a sticker that I'm going to find somewhere. It's here, but it was great. Food was great. Drinks were great. And that Holidays event center is fantastic. Like, it's nice. It was just really, really cool. My daughter had fun going outside, playing around. It was a great time. And obviously, thank you to them and KCSN for offering to have me come up and hang out with them for a little while. It was great.
It's a great community. And we talked about this before the draft, you guys, but support everybody that makes good content in Chiefs Kingdom, because there's too many people to even name, but those guys are at the top of the list. Jayhawk, nice to see you, buddy. Appreciate you. Maybe we'll get a glimpse of the star of the show here, but for 10 months, you've been with us in the memberships. And I'm appreciative. I'm sure she'll make the rounds, make her appearance, maybe sing a song or two, get back off stage and go, emulate the lady. But Jayhawk, thanks. Jayhawk. 10 months. That's awesome. You guys in the memberships have the extra content coming. Dan's rant is scheduled to go up tonight. Didn't get that done over the weekend. The one thing that slipped my mind was with everything else. And then I'm going to give you my breakdown takeaway, like what I expect to happen and what I want to happen. Yes, there's going to be a Carson Steele moment in it. So just be prepared for that. But that's going to be behind the members wall. Once you get in there at the rookie level or above, you get in the Discord as well. So with that ado, this is your show. You guys are running it. You're bringing up the questions, the topics, everything that you want to see. If you send a super chat, you will get an answer no matter what. If you want to get a question or topic in and you don't want a super chat, perfectly fine, but hit that question mark at the beginning like you're going to see on many of these that we're going to start with. So first off, Clinton, thank you, buddy. Veach even said it. Hicks was too good to pass on. And I think we completely agree with that, right? Like, there's no hesitation.
There's zero hesitation, you guys. I'm starting my film room on him right now. I know everyone's kind of interested in the tight end. I'm more interested in Jaden Hicks, specifically because he was a top 50 player on our board, on my board, specifically, my safety too. And I want to break you guys down what he's going to bring. And one area I did tweet it out earlier today is that he can play dime backer. Legitimately come down and play in dime as a true backer or even as a nickel linebacker. He is not afraid to mix it up in the run game. He's big enough to be able to handle it. So the different ways that they can maybe account for Willie Gay not being in Kansas City this year, Jaden Hicks will be able to contribute to that department. So when you get to a point where teams, for whatever reason, fits, it seemed to be the biggest question about Hicks, just draft good players. And you're sitting there in the fourth round. They already passed on him once and picked Wiley. They said, we can't pass on this guy again. We can't do it.
Yeah, it just makes too much sense. And I think we're all excited about that. And he's going to get his first look. This passing camp is going to be, basically rookie camp's kind of 7-on-7. So you'll get a look at him as well as some of the other guys, the DBs, the big DBs that I'm actually really interested that fit their prototype. So we're going to see that some. But in the end, good ball player, however they choose to deploy him. I see a similar path as to what Brian Cook did, because he kind of was the same type role at Cincinnati before he came to Kansas City. So don't rule the guy into a role just based on what he did in college, because everybody can continue to learn and develop. So I think we're going to see more out of him than we think initially. Thanks, Clinton. Appreciate you, bud. Steve, what's the current level of talent in our running back room? Well, is it a passing grade at least? Probably. I don't know.
Probably looking at a C, maybe a C-. If we're being honest with ourselves, it's not great. As a whole, it's not great. I think Pacheco is a B. I think we're seeing Pacheco as a B, yep. And everybody else is pretty much underneath. I think Clyde's a C, and then there's everybody else who is either unproven or not done anything in the league. So you have like D's and F's weighing it down. So it's hard to really know. There's not a ton of proven talent there. And that's concerning to me specifically, with the news that Xavier Worthy is wearing number 1 this year. That doesn't leave a lot of room for Jerick McKinnon unless he's ready to take a different number and come back to play. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I was not happy to see that either. They did announce everybody's numbers, by the way, folks. We'll mention them as we go through. But the number 1, that was my immediate thought as well, Dan. Like, dang, they're not planning on Jerick. Now, again, some guys change after minicamp or whatever. Who knows? But it doesn't feel like Worthy's going to.
No.
That said, like just to carry on with this question, who do you prefer right now as the number 3? Do you have a preference?
I mean, based on pure pass protection alone, I would almost by default put Steele at 3. Almost by
that's
default.
Kind of where I am. Yeah. I have him, and I would go with P. Ryan right now over Prince.
Yeah,
if
agreed.
They keep 4, generally they like 2, but who knows?
Yeah, it comes down to, again, P. Ryan's actually flashed in the NFL. He's played snaps. Mm-hmm. So give me the body who's done it. And honestly, Steele is, everyone's saying he's going to be a fullback. He's not going to be a fullback. He's going to be a running back. And because Andy Reid has already gotten rid of the fullback. There is no more fullback. This is not Andy Reid going back on his word. We're bringing the fullback back. It's not. He's going to be honestly, big, powerful running back.
Even Mike Burton wasn't really a fullback the last couple of years,
true.
Right? It wasn't line it up in the eye and go knock somebody, right? So no. I think that line is blurred. Can you line him up as a fullback? Certainly.
Oh, he's got sure. Enough. Yeah, they do that with tight ends too. Like the true nature of a fullback on this roster is no more.
Yeah. The fact that he catches the pass as well, that he can get downfield. What I'm really excited about is I see him as a goal line guy. Especially if you go A gap to the right side, like that feels like between Trey and Creed, you can punch stuff in now. That's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, it does feel like he's going to have a bit better short area, like 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 vision. Because a lot of times you just see Pacheco take it and try to like bull rush the pile. Sometimes you got to be able to find the hole. There's usually one there. And at worst, he kind of needs that runway, right, to get to the point where he's able to push guys over. Steele has the ability to churn a yard out. That's not something we can really say about Clyde or Isaiah Pacheco, if we're being honest with ourselves. He'll like knock himself off of people, but to churn out yards in that meeting in the backfield and be able to get that yard isn't as high on his skill set.
I agree. Gary, nice to see everybody. Give Gary, one of our mods, his attention that is due. Give him a shout, will you? Appreciate you, Gary. Do you guys think that the defense will be better than last year's defense? You take it.
Yeah, I'm going to say no. And the drop-off, you're not having Willie Gay. You don't have, I mean, honestly, you don't have Mike Edwards. Mike Edwards, and we'll kind of see how Brian Cook plays coming off of an injury. You're not going to have L'Jarius Sneed. You're not going to have Charles Omenihu for however long. There's going to be a drop-off.
Right.
A little bit. I don't think they're going to be back to where we've seen them in the past, but I think we can reasonably expect a little bit of drop-off.
Yeah, I would say in the teens somewhere between 10 and 16, say. I still think they're probably top half of the league unit, but
yeah, for sure.
It all depends how it comes together. Great question, Gary. Terry, nice to see you, buddy. Any free agents out there that still could be possible or to sign or still need to be filled after the draft? I mean, anybody catch your eye?
There's a couple players. Depends on how much money they want to take, though. Like, that's always with it. Like,
right
now that the draft is over, guys should be more lenient in taking money, right? I would still be a proponent of bringing in OBJ. I think he makes sense. He gives you an X receiver, especially if rumors are true and we see 4 to 8 games for Rashee Rice. I think that is kind of an essential need at this point because I like Marquise Brown. I love Xavier Worthy. There's not much else there in terms of size in your wide receiver room.
Going to be
so
it.
It does feel like you need to have somewhere else. Xavier Howard maybe as a stopgap corner option. 30 years old, coming off of $18 million a year. He's not going to be making that much. He needs a prove-it deal. So that's somebody that's caught my eye. I know people are talking about David Bakhtiari, but I'm not touching David Bakhtiari. Period. End of story. I won't do it.
If he wants to be a coach.
Yeah, sure. Fine. You want to teach up Kingsley? Be my guest.
Ding, ding, ding. Crystal says, I'm not super confident in Williams and Watson. Is their best game from Cincy in the championship 2 years ago? And if so, why is that? Yeah, I think they both took a slight step backward as second-year players. And I think it's probably just everyone having film on them. They understand a little bit more, not just how to attack a rookie, but to attack those players. In particular, if you cross over Jalen Watson, you're going to get him. He's got to be able to open his hips quicker, and that's something he's got to work on. Once you get X number of games, you can attack traits on a specific player. I think that's probably what happened. What do you think?
That's fair. And when you are a guy who's being drafted based on traits, and on day 3, I think Josh Williams has not grown into his specific traits as well. Like, I think he played better down the stretch last year. I think that was pretty obvious in terms of him playing more over Jalen Watson than earlier in the season. But to this point, both have been kind of average starters, maybe below average, depending on how you frame it. And when you have L'Jarius Sneed and Trent McDuffie, you can cover up some of those lapses and being able to rotate them out. This year, it looks like you're going to have both of them on the field for most of the football games that you're playing. Not an ideal situation in my eyes. I don't think it's in yours as well. But again, now Najee Johnson coming off an injury was, again, we've talked about this a lot. He was supposed to be competing for that other starting role last year. Maybe he's going to take a step forward, but we also have to remember, coming off an injury, it's not easy to do. So hopefully he can come back and be what he was in training camp last year. We never even got to see him take snaps on the field. Like, yeah, I want to see something like that.
I agree. I mean, he's probably the guy that I'm anticipating most in the return. Just because, like I said, never really got to see it. Jayhawk, thank you, buddy. If you guys would hit that like button, if you haven't yet, we would very much appreciate it. Goes a very long way. And YouTube has its algorithm that likes what it likes. So give it what it likes. Jared, with the new players, what returning players may be on the hot seat to make the team? That is a very, very good question. Justin Ross is on the hot seat, folks. I hate to tell you.
Yeah.
I don't think that Kadarius is yet, but he can see the edge from here. One more stupid Instagram post, one more drop, honestly, in any game that matters at all, and I think you might see him go. I don't know.
It's tough. I think he's the easiest one. Lucas Niang, possibly, especially if they bring that fourth tackle in after OTAs. Yeah, he very well could not make the roster. I think we're probably set at tight end. I don't think anyone's going to miss the roster there. Obviously, we know Noah Gray will be on the roster. It is the last year of his contract, which was something I didn't know until like today, which is my own fault. So I was realizing that as we were talking about tight end in the draft, and I'm just like, oh, after next year, they only have Travis Kelce. I was thinking about that today. I'm like, okay, never mind. I understand why they took a tight end. Deion Bush is the only other guy that maybe doesn't make the team. And with drafting Hicks, you have Connor, you've got Cook, you've got Reed. I mean, last year you started the season on the practice squad. So that's another area. Like he's going to be back. He'll be on the practice squad at worst, but it's nice to have, again, him, the availability for him to just kind of come up and be that guy. It's nice to have that.
Yeah. There's a couple of young guys that I think Hicks's immediate impact probably affects, one being Tyree Gillespie. I know a lot of you Mizzou fans were hoping for him to make the roster, and I would like to see it too, but Deion has that X factor, especially when he comes in cold and makes plays in the playoffs. I think it's a longer run now for Ekaboyedo and Keith Taylor in particular. Doesn't mean they can't, but I'm just saying, like, it looks like it's a harder road. I don't know enough about Nick Jones right now to tell you whether I'm actually comfortable with him making the roster or yet or not.
It's tough. The good news for him is they don't really have another slot, like a legitimate slot, and Nick Jones is that guy. So I know we talk about the safety versatility of Connor and Hicks being able to do that and Reed being able to do that, but they aren't true slots. Like, you don't want them against real quick wide receivers. You want them against big slots and tight ends. So in the sense that Nick Jones can offer them some actual slot protection against some of those quicker, shiftier guys, I think he's got a decent shot.
I agree. I really want to see. Last year, this time, I would have told you that Nazee's the guy that's going to take over the nickel, and it wouldn't have even been McDuffie. So I just don't know how to treat that whole scenario. I think I would put McDuffie on the outside now and let Nick and Nazee battle it out, but I don't know if Spags is going to do that. So I'm really interested to tell you the truth. I think, and I'll just give you guys a heads up warning. We're going to see a lot of experimentation, is my guess, over the next 6 weeks until we get to the final veteran mandatory minicamp. I think we're going to see a lot of experimentation. Blackbird, what's your way too early thoughts on number breakdown at each position on the final 53?
I can give you one right now with a guarantee. There will be 6 wide receivers on this roster. There will not be 7. That experiment failed miserably last year. And Andy Reid said, I tried it once for you guys. I'm not going back.
Right? I have to agree with you. I think there'll be 4 tight ends. I think you have to keep 4 running backs. I think 9 linemen is a minimum. I hope that CJ and Hunter can get in lockstep and be 2 guys that can play on the interior swing kind of thing. I'm not 100% certain of that. I got to be honest. So they are going to wear 60 and 61 respectively. So for those of you that are going to be watching minicamp, keep an eye on those guys. They're not going to do much rookie minicamp because there's no lineman really to go against. But once we get into full OTAs, take a look at them to see if one of them's looking better or more equipped in the playbook and in understanding and feeling comfortable. That's what I would look for.
Yeah, it's still a little early for me to be talking about Final 53 stuff, but I think we'll see a lot of the same stuff we usually do. 9 defensive linemen total, maybe 10, depending on but depending on who's in camp. When we understand like who's being invited to camp and everything, I'll have a much better idea. And I think the Holy Cross guard, like Ryan was talking about, is probably not going to be among those players that makes the final. It would be very difficult for him to make that, but you're just, again, trying to hope to sneak him to the practice squad to develop him with Andy Heck. You just want to keep him with Andy Heck. That's the reason they drafted him. It's not to play. Yep. It's not to really be a backup. It's to develop him. So pretty normal routine stuff for me, just in terms of what they usually keep.
I think it's just Mahomes and Wentz that go to the 53. I don't think Aludicon makes it.
Agreed.
Yeah, the defense is going to be, I think there's a possibility there's only 4 linebackers. I think it's an outside possibility, but I think it's a possibility.
Well, the reason it's an outside, the reason it's a possibility is because of Hicks and Connor.
Yes.
Because of what they bring you. You can be a little bit light with your linebackers if every now and then Spags loves to get light with his linebackers anyway in terms of on field. So if you have a kind of a healthy rotation and you get Hicks in there and he's like really good in coverage and you're just like, well, fine, we'll keep 4 linebackers and we'll just rotate some guys in every now and then. It would make sense.
Yeah. Christo, can Hayden start for us this year? People said he was a second, third round before he got hurt. You know, I went back and I've watched a little bit of film on, not enough to like put a video together for you guys yet, but I probably would have had him third or fourth. But that's higher than either of the other guys, so there's no reason he can't. It's about what he does from now until that moment in time and how much he learns.
It's the injury recovery for me. How fast are you going to get back to your playing speed? Because his deep speed isn't great. He can turn and run, but he's better acceleration-wise than he is long speed-wise. That's what it is for me. He can turn and run. He just can't extend. So everybody, she's here. Hi.
The star's here.
Daddy.
Hi.
Good night.
Good night, sweetie. Can I have a kiss? Can I have a kiss? Oh, thank you. Mwah.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Night, honey.
So I think if he's healthy, he can give it a run. I'm also just not sure if he's going to beat out Williams and Watson immediately, because that's another thing. Now maybe they have something to actually keep them going. There is a starting spot in base to fight for. They didn't have that last year.
Yeah.
They have it now.
Somebody go take it. I'm totally with you. Somebody can rise to the occasion, and I'm desperate to see who it is. But if not, they're backfilling with Hayden. Is it Haddon or Hayden? I can't get it right.
I think it's Haddon.
Okay. Haddon obviously will get the first crack, but there's the other DBs that they brought in. They did a very good job of getting their type of guys in UDFA land as well. It's not that big a stretch. They can do wonders with DBs. I think we've all seen that. So let's see how it shakes out. With 5 safeties now, will Bush get cut? Okay, we addressed that. Is there another team that had an injury? Could KC entertain trading Cook? I don't think that they would. They could entertain it, but I doubt it. I think that the investment they've made in how many snaps he's played tells me that they want him on the roster.
Yeah, I don't think Cook's going anywhere. I don't think so.
Okay. Did the Chiefs draft too many clean-cut guys? No, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to say they're doing just fine.
We're gonna knock on wood here because we thought you never know. I'm just gonna say that's all you can do. You draft as many as you want to. The NFL is a different beast, and kids don't know how to handle money. It's different. It's life changing for most of these people. So just knock on wood.
Yeah. Will Worthy be used the same as McCole was? I don't think so. I know he's small and I know he's thin. I think he can line up outside, and I don't think you have to gadget him open. The number of slants that he runs with success, I think, gives you a better indication of what he can do off the snap, especially if he doesn't have man coverage in his face. I can he do the jet stuff? Yeah, but I don't think that's a starting point for him. Do you?
No, I think starting point, you'll see some screens because he is still very good at that. But I don't want to see jet sweep stuff, like just for motion purposes to get him open. Sure, I'm fine with that. I think he's much better vertical acceleration wise than he is horizontally. I prefer him moving forward instead of horizontally. I think we saw Rasheed Rice being pretty good with that. They have Sky, obviously, Kadarius, whatever you guys think of that, but they will still use some of it. But he's already a better route runner, no offense, McCole, than he ever got to in his career. Ever. Ever.
Yeah.
So you can actually use him as a route running wide receiver. You don't have to hide him. You can do things to create easy movement, easy space for him. Andy Reid does that very well. So there's going to be a little bit of a different route tree to start, in my opinion, for him than McCole had to deal with, because he was still learning the position as well. Like we kind of forget that McCole was quarterback, then DB, then wide receiver. And he was drafted off of, okay, he's eventually going to get there. Worthy came into college dunking on fools as a freshman. He was a dominant freshman player. So I think they're going to be okay just kind of trotting him out there and see what he's got.
I think so too. Des, thanks for all the support though, and especially all weekend
thank
long,
you,
buddy.
Des.
Appreciate you. Nick, thank you as well. Nice to see you. Do you think that Hicks beats out Bush in training camp? All I've heard is how big a deal of a steal he was. And for Dan, and for
nice.
Dan, I work at Howard.
Were you there on Saturday? Were you there on Sunday, man? I didn't know that. But thank you for, if you were there, thank you for, again, the great service, hospitality. You guys were fantastic. My wife and I, again, we'll be back there for sure. 100%. It was amazing.
I'm a little jealous, I gotta say. I'm gonna be in town eventually. Don't worry.
We gotta go.
Gotta get my.
But yes, I do
definitely
think
gotta go.
Bush gets beat out by Hicks. Like I think he already is, to be very fair with you.
Well, and I think he's probably comfortable sitting on the practice squad and getting called up if he needs to be. So he did it last year. He had an opportunity, I understand, to sign somewhere else and didn't. So I think there's something to that. Andy, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. Hope you guys know your hardworking dedication is not going unseen. Congrats on the huge draft weekend. Thank you. And
appreciate that.
For all of you in Cork, Andy, you got to let me know where you are. All of you in Cork, that's where my people come from. So at some point, I'll get back over there and I have to see it for myself. So I'll be somewhere in, I believe Middleton is where I'll probably camp out, right underneath the final still. Yeah, that'll be where you'll find me. Cheers, Andy. Kev, thank you, pal. Nice to see you. Xavier Worthy's similar size to Waddle, Hyatt, Addison, Smith. Where do you rank them in terms of beating press and route running? I assume you mean in college.
I would imagine he thinks as prospects.
Okay. You go first, and then I'll see. Okay. I don't want to badmouth Hyatt too bad.
Oh, don't worry. I'll take it for you. Smith is the bar. Devontae Smith is not just one of the best route runners in the NFL. He knows how to beat press. And he battles. He plays like 2 times the size that he is. He always outworks these guys. So Smith is a tier in his own. And then for me, it's Waddle right after, because this is as prospects coming out of college. I think Waddle understood how to use his speed to beat press and be able to back guys off. And a lot of times he doesn't have to face press. Let's be honest. These guys don't have to face it a ton because they're quick and they're fast. But when they do, they need how to use his hands. I have Worthy right there with Waddle because he knows how to back guys off. He knows how to manipulate. He knows how to use his hands. He's better through contact than almost anybody gives him credit for. I saw lots of bad takes about how he can't handle contact, and yet we had tons of video evidence that suggests otherwise. And then I would have Addison right after that because he does not handle press well, but he's a better route runner than Hyatt. Exactly. Hyatt is just bad. He's just not good. He's not good at route running. He's not good at handling physicality, press, nothing.
I agree with you on Hyatt, and I agree with you on Smith. I would actually put Addison above Worthy in terms of route running, not beating press. And I agree with you. Waddle's probably second to all
That's
of them.
fair.
So just a
That's
slight
fair.
difference, not a big deal. But coming out, a significant place to start, especially when you talk about what those guys have done in the league. So you got to be happy with it. I'm pretty happy with it. Thanks, Kev. Appreciate you. Hey, guys. Nice to see you, Cody. Thanks for the draft content. Now, a few more days removed from the draft. How do we feel about it? Better and better. Yeah, you got an A on it? Okay.
You've got an A. It's an A.
I'm still in the B+ range a little bit. Only because I wanted more. The one thing, and I'm ecstatic that they got Lovett, but I wanted an impact D-line guy they could add. So that's my one reason it's not an A. But
that's fair.
You know, kind of falls how it
my
falls.
argument, I think my argument for that was, considering what they did, the opportunity cost to actually get someone to impact that wasn't necessarily going to happen. The one guy that was going to be there was Dwayne Carter, that they traded to go get, they traded down to go get Xavier Worthy for. So I understand. I get it. I really do.
Yeah. All in all, though, Cody, good weekend out for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Absolutely.
Tramview, why did Hicks fall? For me, I think it's a lack of versatility in some eyes to play the split safety or single high safety role. A lot of teams, from what I understand, made him box only. I think he's more versatile than that, but some teams did not.
Yeah, it was fit from what I heard, like just team fit. A lot of teams didn't see him fitting with their defense, and we know Spags is very accommodating, and he will make things work for good players. Just draft good players, guys.
The only thing that concerns me about those comments, and I've heard those too, is it immediately made me think like maybe it's a fit personality-wise. And I haven't heard anything negative from anybody at Wazoo or anything like that. But I wonder if that was like, maybe there was something in the interviews that put teams off. I'm not sure. If so, hey,
I don't know.
More power to him. Patrick, no question for me, but just a big thank you to you both. Great Chiefs content and helping us learn all the ins and outs. I've grown a bigger fan and love the Chiefs because of both of you. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That these comments always just drive us more. That it gives us more to work for. Like, that's, at least in my eyes, I assume I speak for Ryan as well. So it's always great to hear him, and it just makes us want to work harder.
And it really comes back to the whole reason this channel exists. It wasn't just for me, especially when we had no subs. You know, those first, it took, I didn't get to 100 subs. Dan, you weren't here for this. I didn't get to 100 subs until I was like 12 videos in. So like, it was a slow start. And there are plenty of people that get to that point. They do 10 videos and they don't have 100 subs and they quit.
Yeah.
And that there was enough positive feedback from the few people that were here in the beginning that it just feeds you. And we've tried to grow along those lines. And it really is because we're trying to give you something, and that makes us feel like we've accomplished something. Otherwise, we just talk to each other. And honestly, we'd probably do a podcast and never involve fans. And that'd probably be, a lot different kind of channel. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.
Kamakele, nice to see you. Now that it's post-draft, are there any free agents you're looking for, since we have some cap space? And I personally would like a look at Gilmore, since he's got some experience. Is he free and open there?
I believe. Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay. Stefan's more of a safety now than a corner. But if there's any...
He looked really good last year.
Yeah. Okay. You ready to put him on an island? I'm just asking.
No, Trent McDuffie's on my island, but at cornerback 2, I'm fine.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I mean, I wouldn't argue. If the Chiefs feel that he's in good shape to go, I won't argue. The question is going to be, as always, with a veteran of that ilk, what the compensation has to be and what that does to the rest of their goals. Right now, I think they're sitting at 17. I mean, it's pretty solid this time of year.
Yeah, he came off a $10 million deal with the Cowboys, so he was making $10 million last year. He's 33 years old, going to be 34 during the season. zero chance he's going to make $10 million for anybody at this point. So
Yeah.
I think you might be able to work it. But again, he's going to be 34.
It's getting tough. It's getting tough. Makes me nervous. Well, thank you for the question. We appreciate it. We'll see if they have any interest. I'll bet you after this first couple of weeks of OTAs, I think we'll see something. Greg, thank you for the 50. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Greg.
And thank you for enjoying what we provide. I'm anxious for the season to get going too, but very nicely put. And thank you for being here.
Thank you. Just think about it. Training camp starts in a little over 2 months.
It's crazy, right? I mean, didn't we just win the Super Bowl? I mean, come on.
We just got done with the draft. The draft's over with.
It's going so fast. It's absolutely nuts. And Gary, I mean, thank you for being a member and contributing here and being the people that keep the channel going on nights where it's just a Monday in the off season and there's 500 people in here with us. We appreciate you. So we couldn't do it without you. And that is the bottom line. Cheers, buddy. Des, thank you again, dude. Does this offense need a big body wide receiver to you guys? Andy doesn't care, and I have to trust him. They'd rather have separation and speed and scare everyone than go bash somebody and beat them to a high point. They just don't care.
I would like one myself for my own personal needs. But Andy don't care.
It's crazy. I don't know. I think it's Andy more than Patrick, but what do you think?
It's got to be, right? It feels like they've even gotten some of them in the past, and Andy doesn't use them properly. I go back to Chris Connolly every time. Every single time it's Chris Connolly, guys. He was the perfect go get the football player. And he said, no, you're going to be a possession receiver. And then it's Andy.
I mean, the last bigger bodied guy that worked out was Sammy, right? And even Sammy, it was because he was 6'2" and he was fast. The last big body only guy is Jason Avant that actually contributed to the offense.
Yeah.
It's just, it is what it is. I'm sorry, guys.
I'm sorry too.
Oscar, hope you're doing well, fam. I haven't had time to catch up with you guys live in a bit, so I rewatched the vids and just want to say hi and thanks for all the content before the draft and after.
Thank you,
Thanks
Oscar.
for being
Thank you.
And hey, whatever it works for you, we're glad that you watched. So thanks, Callie, buddy. Nice to see you. I was wondering if you were at the draft because I know you go to about everything, but you know, do we need more edge help? With Menahue being hurt out for about 8 games. I mean, that was my initial thought. Like, I thought I heard up and down that they were in the Neyland the whole time. And I thought that was a guy that they were going to try to make a move for. Mostly because I didn't think Kingsley would last till 63. So that's fair. But when you take a look at the depth, George and Dana can start, and I think you're okay with that. You still have Herring under contract. There's BJ. There's a first-round draft pick from last year that we have to see step up. So I think that's kind of what they've put their eggs in that basket is my feeling. Doesn't mean they don't pick someone else up that's either, you know, cut by another team or something like that. But it feels like they're going to give Felix as much runway as he needs.
Yeah, they have to, right? It's this is the year. If they need defensive end help after this year, it's because they've started Felix and he's just not doing anything, and they have to draft high again. That's what this year has to be for. And like you said, they have Herring, who has been a functional, good run stopper with some upside, eventual, at least pocket pushing. He can do that. And you wait out. So you have your 4 rotational players at defensive end now, and you wait out Charles Omenihu coming back.
Yeah. I think I'm really disappointed for him, but I do think the delayed gratification and recovery, I think will end up helping them in the postseason run again.
Yeah. Again.
Thanks, Cal. That's good to see you.
For whatever reason, like we see some guys come back for the postseason run and they're fresh every single year. That is not something to sniff at. That is huge for them if he comes back and he plays like he did last year.
Yeah. Thanks, Callie. Be safe out there, buddy. Hope you're doing well. What are some of the upcoming dates to know about this offseason? Schedule releases, OTAs, preseason, etc. Looks like camp is going to start on July 18th is the date that I have. That's written in pencil so far. Schedule release, I have no idea when that actually happens. OTA start on Saturday. That's the first official minicamp. They run about 8 weeks. Late May, they'll be done. And then preseason first game should be what? August 16th, 14th, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
So that's what I would keep an eye out for. We'll get official stuff here coming in the next probably 4 or 5 weeks. Anthony, who is someone that you can see getting preseason snaps and getting traded? Ooh, I like that one.
And getting traded. I don't know about that. They kind of need most of the players on the roster. Maybe here it is. Maybe it's either Josh Williams or Jalen Watson. Because you figure if Nick Jones actually gives you something from a slot standpoint and Haddon starts to show, you're like, all right, we think we're in a pretty good position. One of them starts playing snaps in the preseason, plays well, you might be able to trade one of them.
I completely agree with you, and I am hopeful that the same could be said for Lucas Niang. If he actually showed up for a bit, I think you might take his best snaps and let somebody else take the risk.
Agreed.
That's probably what I'd do. Kevin, nice to see you, pal. Are you as hyped as me about Steele? Yes, I'm pretty excited about it. So I was taping the man steamrolls people. He definitely does. He ain't going to run away from no one, but he's going to make it hard for you to get into the ground, and I like that. So, yeah, I mean, it's as close to a running back as I could ask for, or for a fullback as I could ask for in a running back. And I like, again, the collision prosperity, you know. Contact balance isn't even the right word to use for a guy like that. You know, it's destruction. It's not balance. You know what I mean?
He seeks that out. Like, he is built to seek out everything.
Yeah, and hey, I'm here for it all day long. Chris, thanks. Is the legendary Penn Quaker and 3-time Super Bowl champion Justin Watson in trouble of being cut? Absolutely not, in my opinion.
They can't cut him. He's the only guy that's like 6 foot on the roster.
And in fact, if Rasheed does have a suspension or Xavier is slow and coming around learning the offense at all, he's your starter week 1, folks. Justin Watson is a starter on this team until someone comes and replaces him.
Yeah, I think he's a starter no matter what.
Yeah, could be, at least this season.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris. Brett, nice to see you. Outside of the Chiefs, what's the most puzzling move in the entire draft, and why was it Atlanta picking Penix at 8? I have a piece coming on this, at least partially on this, on NFL 33. I'm not going to give the whole thing away, but I want Dan's take, and then I'll give you a generality of what I'm thinking.
I don't understand. You don't make I do understand if you're like in 20s or 30s and you're like, we need a quarterback for the future. This guy's talented. We're going to take him here. You don't do that after you give your quarterback $100 million guaranteed and then tell him you're going to go win us Super Bowls and then kind of say, we're not going to tell you, but we're also going to draft this quarterback at 8 and put this in your mind that, oh, wait, we don't believe you're actually going to win us Super Bowls, so we got an insurance policy, an expensive insurance policy because it's a top 10 pick. I don't even have the word that describes how dumb what they just did is. There's not a word that's coming to mind right now.
I have lots of words, none that I'm going to use on this broadcast, but this is what it comes down to. And the hard part for me is that I like Mike Penix, and I don't notice it. And Dan, you just actually proved part of my point very eloquently. No one's saying, hey, he's not worth that pick. This isn't a misevaluation on the player. Maybe some liked him more than others, sure. But the guy can spin the ball as good as anybody in this draft class. And so it's not that there's a problem with the prospect. It's the fact, like you said, that the preamble to it, you just built $100 million bridge to the future by signing Kirk Cousins, and you just drove underneath it with a Mack truck by picking another quarterback that's already 23 years old. Here's my thing. If their plan goes to fruition, they cut Kirk Cousins and move on in 2 years after spending 73 guaranteed of that 90 or something like that. And Mike Penix is 25 and a half and possibly getting his first action. And that's a waste of a top 10 pick.
It's also it disregards the entire point of a 5-year rookie deal in the first round. You essentially locked yourselves into 2 years, and then you have to extend him. And if he's not good, guess what? You lose anyway. You lose anyway. It's the terrible process, not only to get to this point, but monetarily makes 0 sense. It makes no sense.
And it's a lot of people talking about the fact that the ownership was bought in and approved it. I think the ownership pushed it because I don't think these guys would have gone and made that decision. Terry Fontenot's had a couple of good breaths, but he's by no means like untouchable. You could have, and this is my problem, as much as I like Mike Penix, you could have traded down to 12 with the Broncos. They weren't going to take Penix. They wanted Nix all along. The vast majority of the league knew that. And you could have gotten him at 12. And in the meantime, gotten yourself another second or third round pick that you could have helped build the defense, the things that you need to do better. That's my problem. So sorry to get all fired up, Brett, about a non-Chiefs team, but
no, it's good because the Atlanta Falcons are even taking our mind off of the Broncos taking Bo Nix at 12, which is also ridiculously bad. It's so bad.
I mean, I didn't even have Nix in the first round either, and I like him. And I do think in terms of like a Cousins type, like a field general type, I think he can be that and probably a little bit more in my opinion, because I think he's more mobile than Cousins ever was. But I had Penix like in that 16 to 20 range. That's the block that I had him in. And so I think there was plenty of opportunity for you to not use 8.
And Kirk Cousins was drafted in the 4th round, lest we forget.
Yeah. Good Lord. So sorry, Brett. Sorry to get all hyped up, but thank you. Appreciate that. That's how we read it. And I'll have more detail and go through it here on NFL 33 coming up this week. Do you think that Curtis Jacob makes it? I think he's got a shot, but I'd probably put it about 40% right now.
Yeah, especially
Cochran knows what he's doing and did get on the field on defense as well last year. Yeah. I mean, Cam Jones is the 4. Cochran would be 5 right now, and I think Curtis can maybe push him. Everybody's calling him an excellent athlete, and he is very good, but he's on par with what Cochran is, and he's not as good an athlete as Cam Jones is. So the thing that he's got going for him doesn't give him an advantage over the 2 guys he's got to beat out. But
I'm with you.
I do like him as a developmental guy. Devontae, what's your all's grade on this year's draft class? Dan, what would you give it?
Yeah, I'm giving it an A. I love what they did. Again, they didn't wait around. They tried to go get their guys both in the 1st and 2nd round, understanding that they needed to help Patrick out. Like this was we need to give Patrick what he needs, and we can't keep doing what we've done the last couple of seasons. They went and got Xavier Worthy. They went and got a developmental left tackle who, in my opinion, is going to be able to start and probably win that job. And again, hopefully it just drives Wanya Morris and Kingsley to be better, to just be better. Yeah. Like that's what you want, competition to drive them to get better. And then they got, again, my safety too, which gives them more versatility. And they got it in the 4th round. And a guy, in my opinion, again, with Wiley, who's going to be able to play right away. I don't think you have to worry about him easing in. He's done a ton of stuff at TCU, and he is still learning, but he can block well enough. He blocks better than Irv Smith Jr. right now. He blocks well enough that you could put him out there with Travis Kelce in 12 personnel sets and still utilize him as a player. So I think what they did overall, and again, I think Hunter Norzad's going to just be, I think he is what that pick is. So I love it.
My earphone died about a minute ago. I had to wait for you to stop talking before I realized it.
No,
so
you're
would
good.
You take the next question? I'm going to go get the other one.
Yeah, I got you. Appreciate you, Devontae, for that. Because, again, I just like talking about how good I think the Chiefs did in a draft where realistically, it's hard to have a good draft where they're at every single year. Kathy, thank you for your question. The punter out of BYU have a chance. I think that these guys always have a chance. But I also forgot to a point that Matt Ariza, who was talked about as the best punter coming out a few years ago, obviously the legal issues, was drafted by Buffalo, then cut. He's going to, at least right now, be the incumbent. Like, everyone slotted him to be the punter. So the guy out of BYU, again, who was, I think, one of the best punters in college football last year, will have a shot. It'll be a competition. I mean, I would think that Ariza is going to win it, though.
Yeah, I have to think so as well, but you need to have a backup. Let's see. Oh, I jumped too far. Sorry. Can we get a couple-minute rant about the horrible Worthy takes right now? Yes, Dan would be happy to oblige you.
Well, okay, so Naz, I'm actually going to make another rant video this week because I'm going to do a special one for the members and talk about the picks that each AFC West team made that makes my head either explode or pissed off that they drafted such a good player. So we're going to do that, and we'll include the Xavier Worthy in there as well. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think so too. That's a great topic. And I think we have a similar question coming up here in a little bit. Can Worthy become a number one receiver at some point? I think so.
So I think the potential is there. I think he's probably more of a high end 2 if he reaches the potential, because I do think that he's probably not going to get to what Devontae Smith is, and I think Devontae Smith is a high end 2. Not to say that he again can't be the route runner with the speed. Devontae's got great hands and he's physical and he plays above the rim very, very well. So I think they complement his skill set is route running, speed, deceleration, creating separation. And then you got obviously the speed to just kind of make angles disappear. So if he puts on a little bit of weight and we still see that speed and acceleration that he has, then I think I'll change my tune. It's tough.
I don't know what it is. I say it wholeheartedly. I think that he can. Mm-hmm. Am I betting that he will right now? I'm 50-50. But something that you said triggered me to think about it this way. Devontae Smith is a very good comparison. But I don't know how you feel. I don't know that Smith has progressed as much since coming to the NFL as what I think the potential for Worthy is to progress. So for me, if Andy gives him the Tyreek treatment and Andy brings him along, we saw Tyreek go from who he was to what he is in a progression in his time in Kansas City. If Andy can dig down, and Worthy seems to be into it, although Xavier, don't wear blue and orange pants on your first day in Arrowhead. I'm just saying. Just so you're aware. But if Andy gives him that kind of treatment, it feels like Andy's got a pretty good connection with him, much like he did with Tyreek. And I hate to put that connection out there and use Tyreek's name, but it's true. He has that kind of speed, and if he gets that kind of attention, he could progress to the point where he is a number one.
Yeah, I'm not going to put that on him. I'm not going to do it. I'll never put that expectation on a player. I think that, again, probably 10 pounds is what we're looking at. Get him in the weight room a bit more, 10 pounds. Let's see what he can do with 10 pounds of added muscle. And that's not for this year. That's for next year.
Yeah.
So this year he's going to probably play around 170, maybe 165, because you do lose weight during the season. And I need to see a lot of what he did at Texas. I need to see some over routes. Honestly, how are you going to handle getting hit over the middle of the field in the NFL? Let me see that. I want to see that and things like that. So if we can see some more RPO concepts and get some slants like Tyreek did in Kansas City a few years ago, maybe we can start to actually have that conversation.
And he does run slants pretty well and successfully. If you guys don't know Matt Harmon, he does reception perception. And so first thing I did, I went and checked all that. And the slant is more successful for him than you would be given his size. So yeah, for sure. I'm holding out hope, guys. Holding out hope. Hanneman, nice to see you. Love Kingsley's potential, but any concerns about his run blocking? He seems to miss blocks downfield. I mean, he doesn't zero in as good as some other guys, but he's athletic enough to fix that. It's more about, I think, playing under control. I don't know how you feel, Dan.
Yeah, it's those landmarks, right? It's really what are you aiming at? Sometimes they're not the best. And he's obviously got the athletic ability to change all of that. I will say he does tend to fall off blocks normally, and a lot of it is just more technique. And that's something that's going to come with time. And I'll be honest with you, I'd much rather deal with a maybe poor-ish run blocker and a really good pass protector than the opposite, because Wanye was great in the run game. Fantastic for him last year. Every time they dropped back to pass, I held my breath. And the one thing you're going to do in this league with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback is throw the football a lot more, and he's going to be winning you games. So I'd rather lean on that.
I'm 100% with you. Couldn't have said it better myself. Thundarius, I'm 4 years in on my main channel and still haven't hit 500. Folks, go see Thundarius' channel.
Yeah.
Throw it in the chat, Thundarius. Even give him a link.
Yeah, let's go.
I like the beer content. We do still need to hook up about that. I have an idea because I don't have time to do as much beer content as I would like. Who do you think wins out right now? Wanye or Kingsley? What do you got? Great question, Alicia. Thank you.
I think it's going to be Kingsley. I've said that since they drafted him, and I believe that he's going to be your starting left tackle.
Okay. I'm going to – my gut says you're probably right, but for sake of devil's advocacy here, I'm going to take the opposite and say that he doesn't quite get that done in training camp, and Wanye starts the season, but eventually he is the starter this year.
Here's another thing I will say. I don't think it's going to be Wanye no matter what. If Kingsley's not ready – it's going to be outside hire. It's going to be bringing back Donovan Smith, and he starts, and then Kingsley takes over.
Okay. All right. I like that prediction. Getting in the details. Jonathan, nice to see you. Really appreciate the hundreds of hours y'all put in on the draft. Thank you. Best KC content out here. Thank you. New drinking game. Take a shot whenever Ryan says, let's be real. And Dan says, I'm going to be honest. We try to keep it real and honest. So let's be real and keep it honest. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. It's like one of my best. It's one of my best things, right? You can count on that at least once or twice, or maybe even 4 times a video. But it is what I try to do.
I'm going to give you an end of the day and bottom line. And I'm going to do some others. I'm guaranteeing it. Thanks, Jonathan. And let's be real. Xavier Worthy he got a Chiefs tattoo today. Okay, hope it turns out better than KT's Giants tattoo.
Oh yeah, I think the big difference here is that one wanted to be drafted by the team that he's getting a tattoo of, and the other one, okay, we'll do it.
I mean, I hope it's all genuine and everything. I'd have no reason to think that it's not. But even if it isn't, Xavier Worthy understands. He named the Chiefs as the team he wanted to go to. He's bought into that. He understands how to get to his coach to dig on him and like him because he's wanted to play for him. I mean, I believe it's real, but the synergy is coming together. And if Andy, in his older age, is able to get in with the younger guys, I think the attention itself can take that athlete to bigger heights than we think. Not new heights, but bigger heights. Sorry, Trav.
Xavier loves football. I think that's a big proponent, not just of why Andy Reid and Brett Veach wanted him, but because that is damn contagious. Teammates feed off that stuff. Rashee Rice loves football. Maybe not so much to not, do some things outside of what he shouldn't be doing, but Xavier Worthy, now we know that he loves football. And I'm telling you guys, do yourselves a favor and go watch him playing as a freshman. Most people don't do what he was able to do as a freshman in college at his size, much less just be able to do it. It's different. What he is truly talented. Like you can't teach his level of raw talent.
Yeah.
He just has it.
You're absolutely right. Oh, thank you, Ozzy. Take care. Brenda, nice to see you. Thank you. Another one of our core members. Cheers to you. Just want to say thank you for all you guys do. Do you see Hicks as Reed's possible replacement? Sure. I got to see him on the field together to make sure it's a one-to-one. But yeah, I mean, Justin's been great, and I really felt, you correct me if you feel differently, Dan, I really felt year 2 for Justin Reed was markedly better than year 1 for him. And so I'm not sure that they're ready to part ways on purpose.
Yeah, I don't think so. Justin Reed's still young. I think we forget because it feels like he's been here a while, but he's still very young. And if he's going to be, I think he's going to be extended. How would you feel about having Justin Reed, Brian Cook, and Jaden Hicks long term as your safeties? I don't know. It feels pretty damn good to me.
Yeah. And Shamari can be a floater, robber, corner, or whatever he
Do
wants.
whatever. Do whatever.
Yeah. I mean, and I hope that Shamari's got a little chip on his shoulder because I thought he put in some good reps last year. And this is going to drive him even farther. So I'm looking forward to that. Pono, hope you're doing well out there, buddy. It's hilarious watching the Raiders and Chargers chase the Chiefs with their picks, and the Raiders signed Gallup today. I saw that. You fail when you chase. Yeah, and is there anyone to throw the ball in Las Vegas yet?
It's still good old Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell.
Gardner Minshew is a dude that I could hang out and drink beers with. But if I need,
I'm sure a lot of people
to go score points, I'm not calling him.
But guess who? Guess who's
he was
going to
out
have
at
to?
Spring game yesterday. Yeah.
Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
Devontae Smith. Devontae Adams. Jacoby Myers. Good players who I really like. And I'm frustrated that the Raiders have them. And Michael Mayer. I'm mad.
Yeah. I would be pissed if I were Mayer. That's just redonkulous. Which AFC West teams improved from this draft? I was going to say, I mean, you could say you have a better overall weapon set because of Brock Bowers. Okay. The usage in the division is going to be silly. But I really feel like the Broncos and the Chargers made way more gains than the Raiders did. Am I out in left field?
The Chargers, far and away improved themselves. Bar none.
Yeah.
Joe Alt, Ladd McConkey, and Junior Colson on 1, 2, and 3 in your picks. Those are starter and possible Pro Bowl level players day one for that offense and defense. Okay, hard to argue with that. Now, everything else, we'll find out. I think that the Raiders did a good job in kind of just drafting the best player available when it was Brock Bowers. Not getting one of the top quarterbacks, fine. We're just going to draft the best player available. Then you do some heavy reaching on DeMar Glaze, who is not going to help you a ton right now, maybe even ever. But I think that outside of some of the weirdness, because there were some weird picks, and I think all three of them collectively, the teams all got a little bit better. But the only one that you're maybe a little bit worried about is the Chargers, because I think the Chargers got difference makers. That's the big key here.
I agree. I like Jonah Ellis and I like Abrams Drain. They both ended up in Denver. I will see those guys up close. And I obviously am bigger on Bo Nix than most. And I think putting Troy with him helps them both. So I do think that there is some synergy there, but everything else was left field. By the way, Frank Crum did end up in Denver. If you guys were asking about him the other night, the last of the dancing bear, 6'7" surfer looking dude. So yeah. Chief Belief, thank you, buddy.
Chief,
for handing out memberships.
Loving it.
You're the man.
This year has been fantastic for gifted subs, and we can't thank you guys enough for sharing the love with everybody.
Yeah, and it really helps. If you get one of these memberships posts, you can upgrade to Rookie to get all the behind-the-scenes videos and the Discord and all of that. Super simple. Rogue Nation, you can go look at it on Discord right now. You can get in the lobby, but it unlocks once you connect your YouTube account and your Discord account, and you're a member here at the rookie level or above. But Chief Belief got you started on your way. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. Jayak, nice, buddy. Thanks again. AFC West going to be the AFC West. Each team is going to do what they normally do. You know, it's hard to buck trends, but I don't know. Sean Payton's more, I think, abrasive than most people thought. And I have a tendency to think in what is kind of a softer league today than it was 10 years ago. I think he can get some things done. So while I agree with you in general, I do think that they could be on the rise a little bit as well.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I believe in Sean Payton anymore. I'll be very honest. I'm not sure he's the guy that he was with Drew Brees. I think the quarterback sometimes can make the guy. And I think Sean Payton is a very brilliant offensive mind. But I think that you also need that special connection. Andy Reid was a brilliant offensive mind until Patrick Mahomes became his quarterback. And we saw what that connection does.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. It's just, it's night and day. Thanks, Jayhawk. Tommy, nice to see you. If Wanye loses the job, could you see him playing right guard if Trey leaves in free agency? I absolutely could. I think that's within his realm. He's never had to do it before, but I think that's always an option. I think it's more likely that they try to put him at right tackle, and Juwan's contract comes to an end a little bit earlier. They don't have much of an out in the contract structure, so I do think Juwan is probably here for the 4 years, but 3 they could maybe try to save some money. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of a idea I've floated, is that he plays guard for you. But again, at worst, if you have a swing interior or swing tackle out of Wanya Morris, a 3rd-round pick, you shouldn't feel too bad about that. I know he was on the pine to start left tackle for you last year out of necessity, but if you get a swing tackle out of him, I'm not going to be too mad.
Okay, I can get down with that. Jimmy, thanks for the support, brother. Did Veach say that there's some free agents that were signing Friday? Not that I saw, or did I mishear him? Great jobs, guys, and appreciate everything you guys do. Thank you, buddy. We definitely put in long hours.
Jimmy.
I think he was referring to the guys he just signed Sunday.
I think so.
All the free agent class. Although I haven't seen them officially announce it yet. They usually do that on Monday, and I haven't seen it. Have you?
I have not.
UDFA class. Okay.
But I do think he was talking about the UDFAs.
Okay. I like it. I think they did a good job with that group. I think several of them have a chance to stick. We're going to find out.
Yeah, I agree.
Thanks, Jimmy. Always a long time listener on Spotify, Odyssey. Well done, Jordan. Appreciate it, Jordan. Thank you for the support.
Thank you.
It's nice to see you. Ozzy said Nick Wright had a good point today. Sean has shown he can coach QBs, but he has not shown that he can pick them, or more importantly, develop them. That's the big thing. Can you take a guy from here to here? We don't know. We're going to find out. Good point, Ozzy. And Jayhawk, did you see B.O. as Patrick? What did I do? Oh, did I see Bo as Patrick? No. I was not kidding myself into thinking Bo had any of that arm cannon. And his footwork actually was a little bit more conventional than Patrick's was coming out. So it's not as quick, and it's not the clean delivery, but he doesn't have the arm strength. But I think he's as functional as say Cousins or someone else. I had another comp the other day. Oh, the kid that was in Denver before him.
Drew Lock.
The kid that's in Seattle now, backing up Gino. Drew Lock. Yes.
He's actually in New York now, backing up Daniel Jones.
Oh, is he really? Okay, well, he might get to play actually a little bit then. I feel like Locke and he are probably comparable as well. Functional enough. I think what I like about Bo is I think that he overcame what was a terrible start to his career to become a guy that led teams to at least Pac-12 competition, if not national competition, and kind of brought Oregon back out. So we'll see. Am I crazy?
I think Oregon's offense made Bo Nix. I don't think it was the other way around. I think that the only reason that he looked halfway decent is because first read, balls out, or I'm throwing it to the screen. Like I just didn't get Bo.
Okay. That's cool. Maybe you're going to be right. We're going to find out. Any moves the Chiefs are likely to make in May to upgrade? Probably not right now, except for the tackle thing. We'll see. Unfortunately, people get hurt in OTAs every year. If we see something like that, they'll have to do something. But I don't know that they have any plans at this very moment.
Yeah.
And I think we'll finish up with info. Did they see Spencer Rattler looking like Costco Great Value brand, Patrick? I don't think so. What do you were
tough,
higher
man.
than most. You and Damian were pretty high on him. What was what you were relying on your evaluation? What did you see that you would bottom line it?
The pure given talent that he has. I would say if you put his best 5 throws up against any best 5 throws of the quarterbacks in that draft class, you wouldn't be far apart. I think he has some of the best flashes. Now, the thing is, they're inconsistent flashes, and he does tend to sometimes put the ball in harm's way. And that can be a good thing or it can be a bad thing. It can be harnessed or it can not be harnessed. And I think that at the end of the day, people still were more of the opinion he was very immature, like his high school growing up, his path at Oklahoma, when he's grown quite a bit since then. Maybe the interview process didn't show that, but from what I've seen and some of the conversations I've had with guys that have talked to him, it does appear, at least again on the surface, that he's a different person. Now, I think it's a great landing spot to be in New Orleans because we know that Derek Carr is not it. We know that the other pretty boy that they drafted last year isn't it. And it's going to probably be Spencer Rattler before too long, unless, again, maybe he's just bad.
I'm going to look right now because I'm not sure. Jake
Jake
Hayner.
Hayner.
Okay, now I'm with you. Okay, yeah, I could not remember his name. Okay, and info. Sorry, we've been so serious about prospects for so long. We don't recognize the jokes, bro. Apologies.
No, we don't. It's hard. It's hard to pick them out.
It really is, man. I tell you what. Well, Tavius, nice to see you getting here late. What do you guys think of Amani Bailey? Kind of think he is good in space, but does not so much between the tackles. I mean, once he breaks free, yeah. I mean, he doesn't have super speed from what I saw. I haven't looked at a ton of it, but I don't know. I'm not terribly excited. It feels a lot like Clyde. If you give him a good gap and he can actually get into some space, okay. But I don't know.
I was watching Jared Wiley, and I mean, guy catches my eye. I'm just like, okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice to see. You see some explosiveness. You see some tackle breaking ability. Man, you never know.
Okay, cool. Let's see what he has. He's going to have an opportunity, especially with Clyde Pacheco, the only solid guys on the roster. So we will find out. We're going to call it a night, folks. We're going to have content for you all week, including some takes on some of the things. And we're going to relive a couple of moments as well. But I hope you're excited about your team. They hit the field on Saturday. So come Sunday night, we'll have something. And obviously, Monday Night Q&A is your thing all offseason until we get to training camp. Plenty coming for you. Thank you for being here with us, Dan. Thanks for taking time away from the ladies again. And give our best to the star so she can get her Hollywood star or whatever.
Oh yeah, she's getting more comfortable. She got recognized on Sunday, and she was a little taken aback by it. She didn't really know how to handle it, but you guys know that we come here every Monday, and I will always be here for you guys whenever we're here. We're gonna take some time off. I'm not sure when it's gonna be, but we'll figure that out. But yeah, it was fun.
Avery got recognized. Back up.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. Some of the fans knew who she was.
Oh, man. All right. We're going to have to talk about a game plan for her Hollywood career. Dang. All right. Everyone have a great night. Enjoy your evening today. We'll be back with you tomorrow and check it out then. Take care.